Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. All right, so this is the last video I'm going to do for today. I've been meaning to make this one for a while. The U.S. is cutting its own throat. Our government is cutting its own throat. You remember a few weeks ago with the energy crisis that happened in Texas, which happened entirely because capitalist entities just neglected, abused the responsibility to build safe infrastructure. And right now, you'll notice that the price of gas has gone up substantially. That's not because we don't have the capacity to produce more oil and gas. It's because it's being intentionally restricted. Now, at the same time, all of this is occurring. The U.S. is trying to force oil and gas sales of our products on Europe. Well, Europe is looking at this and, first of all, saying to themselves that our supplies are, not, the supply line is not safe. It's not consistent. If we run into enough of a shortage here, what happens to their supplies there? If our oil companies force the price of oil to go higher and higher, and we are expected to have $4 a gallon gasoline by summer here, what does that do to them when they pay higher prices for our gas than we do? Meanwhile, we are threatening to sanction European countries if they buy oil and gas from Russia and Iran. Well, Iran is selling oil right now at $3 to $4 a barrel, less than the international price. This has caused China to increase their purchases from Iran by 150%. Well, 129%. Yeah, it can easily reach 150%. Europe has got Russia right next door. Let me point out that the Nordstream 2 pipeline is nearly complete. It will be completed this year. European investors have put billions of dollars into their side of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. If that pipeline never delivers anything, they lose that money. What, are we going to pay them? Are we going to give them billions of dollars that they invested so that our oil companies can make a profit, so that European citizens will pay more money for our oil, which puts a restriction, a stress on European industry, on the European economy? Do you think they're going to go along with this? Absolutely not. I again bring up that Biden has talked about diplomacy, and then he turns around and calls Putin a killer. Well, compare the actions going on here and accuse an accusation that the Russian government poisoned Alexei Navalny with the most deadly nerve agent in the history of mankind. Oh yeah, and the Skripals. All three of them survived and recovered 100%. How's that? First of all, how is that murder? How is this even a thing? How is this even a discussion? It's just complete ignorance. You can't believe any of this. Meanwhile, we are still doing business with Saudi Arabia. Remember Khashoggi? The Saudis openly arm and fund terrorist groups in the Middle East. They arm and fund Al-Qaeda. Of course, we have armed and funded and worked right along with Al-Qaeda. Our U.S. military has worked in league with Al-Qaeda. Yeah, remember Al-Qaeda? Al-Qaeda were allegedly the ones that conducted 9/11. Yeah. Well, we've worked with them. We continue to do business with Saudi Arabia. We hand $4 billion a year to Israel, who is conducting genocide in Palestine. Saudi Arabia conducting genocide in Yemen. We have invaded Iraq. We have armed and funded terrorist groups in Syria. Our presence in Iraq and Syria are illegal. We have caused the greatest refugee crisis in the history of mankind from those countries. We have killed millions of civilians in those countries by our actions, directly and indirectly, and continue to do so on a daily basis. We are still dropping at least 120 bombs a day at an average cost of $80,000 per bomb. How many? We are bombing 7 countries right now. 7 countries. And Putin is a killer? Really? Stop listening to this bullshit. Because other countries are not listening to this bullshit. All of our actions, all of our oil companies' actions, all of our sanctions are cutting our own throats. Eventually, Europe is just going to say, we don't want your oil. Other countries may follow suit. What do you think is going to happen to the oil industry in the United States when that happens? The Iraqi parliament the Iraqi prime minister is expected to give a formal order for the United States military to vacate to remove 100% of U.S. troops from their country this year. The Iraqi parliament voted 100% unanimously last year for the United States to remove our troops from their country. So, what happens? When that happens, U.S. oil companies lose a lot of money there. That doesn't mean the oil isn't going to be exported to Europe. It will be exported to Europe. But our oil companies will no longer get the profits from it, because we have been charging Iraq 80% of their oil revenue for our assistance in that country after we destroyed their country. Bet you didn't know that. 80%. They only get to keep 20% of the revenue from their own oil. So, yeah, I expect Europe to approve and complete the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. I expect Europe to increase their oil imports from Iran and from Russia. And I expect more and more that other countries are going to force the price of oil down somewhat. The U.S. forcing the price of oil up by restricting production is not something that is going to continue. Pardon me. All right, share this video. Talk about these subjects. When this hits, you can expect major impacts on the petrodollar, which is the value of the U.S. dollar. When this happens, the dollar will collapse. All right, I've been expecting this for years. For one way or another, I have been expecting this for years. And now it is about to come about. You can make no mistake. The only thing that could possibly prevent it is declaring war. And don't put that against Biden either. All right, talk about these subjects. Share this video. Click like, please. And if you can, donate $1 a month to help expand the channel. I will catch you in the next one.